All right, you beautiful people. Happy Wednesday. We got such an exciting show today. We have U.S. Olympic sailing athlete Stephanie Roble. She is currently going for the 2024 Paris Olympics, racing 49ers. I don't know too much about the sailing world other than it's pretty intense. But her and her partner Maggie, they got a great chance, and we're excited because we have her on the show today to talk about this beautiful Wisconsin, I think, roots girl who got hooked on wing foiling and is super fired up on it. And of course, we have our right hand man over there, Gwen. So we're here to inspire you guys, inspire women out there, and let's dive in with Stephanie. So thanks so much for being on the show.
Thanks for having me, guys. I'm stoked to be here.
Yeah, Stephanie, how tell us a bit about like how you got into water sports, like coming from Wisconsin. I actually was in Wisconsin last summer during the Cabrera tour, and
cool.
and you guys have like amazing spots. Actually, I was very surprised. Some of my favorite spots were Sheboygan. But anyway, yeah, tell us a bit about like how you got into water from Wisconsin.
Yeah, that's always a hot topic because I feel like people are like, Wisconsin sailing? What? Like those two don't mix. But there's actually a really big sailing culture in Wisconsin. Like you said, the summers are beautiful up there, and I was fortunate enough to grow up on a small lake called Lake Beulah. There's a really big sailing community there. So when I was 5 years old, my parents signed me up for sailing lessons at our yacht club. And actually, at first, I didn't totally like the sailing thing. Like I loved being in the water. I loved playing on the water. My parents exposed me to the water super early on when I was a young kid. And so I loved being on the water, but wasn't sure about the whole sailing thing because you're out there by yourself in this little boat called an opti, and it was pretty intimidating. I'm not gonna lie. But eventually I came around to it and realized that it's a cool way to spend time on the water with my friends, and the community there and the coaches and the yacht club just made a really fun summer for us. We'd play like sponge tag and like sail to like different little coves and on the lake and sail to different like the neighbors' piers and stuff. So it was more like adventure sailing, and that was really fun. So I fell in love with being on the water and sailing at a young age, and then I started competing, and I remember like I won my first race, and I was like, "Ooh, I love competing. I love winning," and that's kind of like what drove me, I think, for the rest of my life. I just really love that feeling of working hard for something and seeing results. So, yeah, that's where I started.
So, and then when did you like move out of Wisconsin? At what point in your like, and was like sailing like the reason for like leaving? Or
Yeah, so I sailed pretty competitively all throughout high school. My friends in high school called me Carmen Sandiego because they were like, we never know where in the world Steph is. She's always leaving and always going somewhere to go do some sailing competition. So from an early age, I was totally addicted to competing and sailing and being on the water. And after high school, I went to school in Old Dominion University in Virginia, where I was sailing on the team there, and had a pretty successful college career. And after college, I decided I didn't want to get a real job. I just wanted to keep sailing. So pursued a career in like racing small keel boats, which actually is what brought me to Miami in about 2014, and been in Miami ever since then. And since 2016, I've been racing on the Olympic circuit.
In Miami, correct me if I'm wrong, it has one of the best, like obviously sailing centers to be able to kind of advance. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's the home of the U.S. sailing team. In the winter, we're all there training, and there's a lot of resources for us as U.S. sailing team athletes there, like gym and physios, and it's just kind of a central place for us all. So it's a kind of a no-brainer for me to set up camp there. And I love how easy you can get on the water and be on the water year round in Miami. Such a special thing.
So here's the exciting question. So obviously all these people are getting hooked on wing foiling and foiling in general. And I would love to hear your vision or perception in the sailing world. Like, are families and parents like all of a sudden they're like, yeah, we love sailing, but man, get yourself a wing and foil and try this new thing that's happening? Or are sailors like still focused on what they do? Or is this like a fun branch to do on the side? I'm just kind of curious in that whole realm. Is everybody starting to be like, whoa, what is this thing called foiling or wing foiling? And is that kind of like a new exciting thing?
Totally. Yeah, that's a really good question. I'd say like a lot of people are like, whoa, what is this? I need to go try this. It looks so fun. And then, for a while we were always saying like the future is foiling, and the America's Cup turned to foiling, and there's a Sail GP circuit, which is foiling, and now kiteboarding, and a couple of the classes in the Olympics are foiling. And so there's just been like a sudden surge of foiling in the sailing community. And I think people are like, whoa, the future is now. It's like, the foiling is happening right now. And there's just wing foiling is such an easy way to get on the water and be foiling, because a lot of those boats, like the catamaran that's a foiling class in the Olympics, is like a lot of work to get on the water. And, the Moth class, which is a smaller foiling sailboat, it's a lot of boat work and expensive to get into it. So the wing foiling is a, really easy way to just get on the water and enjoy foiling. And super accessible.
So
I love it. That was well said.
When you try to like get back to when you first saw wing foiling, I don't know if it was on social media or in real person, you had never seen it before and you just happened to see it. What went through your head? What did you think at that moment?
So I saw it on social media, just friends starting to do it. And I was like, what is this? This seems so cool. And I was just instantly attracted to it because I've had a little bit of kiteboarding background, and I was like, it seems like a really cool way to get on the water outside the sailing community.
So, and how was your process? Did you just buy gear and struggle like we did, or what was your process? Gwen's still struggling. Everybody, please go to his Instagram, look at his latest struggle.
That's a good one.
It never ends. The struggle never ends. I'm just warning everybody getting into the sport.
The struggle never ends.
So after the Olympics, I was like kind of taking a break from sailing and was like, I just really miss being on the water. And my friend Paula was like, we need to get you foiling. And she's been saying that to me for a while, and wing foiling, and she's so good at it. And finally, after the games, I had enough time to kind of like put some, time into lessons with her. And she was so sweet. She took me down to Matson Hammock Park and taught me kind of the basics of everything. And we spent a couple afternoons together, and I was like, I'm totally addicted. I'm going to buy gear right now. And I think it was after like 2 or 3 lessons that I went and bought the Cabrina gear, and have just been kind of learning by playing and watching your guys' videos and videos of friends. It's really inspiring though, because you guys make it look so easy. And I was like, it can't be that hard. And I got on the board and was like trying to manage the kite or the wing and everything. And I was like, this is really hard. Like, they make it look so easy, but it is not easy at all.
I feel like everybody goes through that same process of when you have experience, whether it's kiting or you have experience sailing. I feel like, you look at it, it looks kind of hard, but you are like, I'm probably going to get it like pretty quickly. And it's always a reality check for everybody. You go out there for the first time and you are like, what the hell? This is like impossible.
Totally. I mean, I'm still at that phase. Let's be
Hold on, peoples. Hold on. Look at her totally ripping right here. So I don't know if
this is a highlight moment, but no, I can really only go important. But I love the challenge of like figuring out now. I'm like, okay, I have to like, work on like the mental component of like being able to ride the other way. And I like those challenges, the kind of like brain games, so to say. that comes with it. So
Was your experience? Do you think your experience sailing like was a huge help, or did
no.
you? No? I mean,
No.
maybe understanding the wind at least. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
good
No,
help.
for sure. Understanding the wind and like, watching puffs come down and stuff. But beyond that, I would say like it wasn't like a huge factor in it, which I think is cool because it makes the sport accessible to sailors and non-sailors.
I love this because for all the viewers out there and people listening and want to get into foiling and teach your friends or whatever, here's Stephanie, one of the greatest sailors, amazing athlete, incredibly talented, understands wind better than anybody out there, understands Mother Nature. Yet she said it's still totally different and totally, and I totally agree with this because a lot of people are like, oh, I'm a really good surfer, I'm a wakeboarder, I'm this, I'm that. I don't care what you do. I really don't. You're still going to struggle. I
For sure.
think there's just some different thing that you have to work out and it takes time. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's only been one person my entire life that I've seen, and he was a Formula One athlete and races Formula One. And he was the only guy I've ever seen get on an e-foil. And he never fell, never did anything, never struggled, just got up and like it was zen. And I was like, okay, he's for sure an anomaly. Like,
he's like a
there's no
unicorn.
question. But 99% of the people, it's like bang, 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 whatever. But
Totally.
just to tap into that, Paula is down in Miami with Adventure Sports and eFoil USA. So anybody out there looking to take some lessons or get out on the water, totally great people, awesome
Yes.
partners to get out and learn it the right way and kind of just expedite that process. That is a challenge, we all know.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, she was awesome and super patient with me. And just kind of going off what you were saying there with like the learning process, I think is something, that you can value with, picking up winging or obviously anything new. It's just, for me, it's fun to just learn new things and challenge myself. And you have to have the right mindset going into all of it of like, okay, I'm going to fail a lot here and I'm going to have a lot of wipeouts and I'm going to be frustrated, but how can I like still keep learning and getting better?
Do you travel with gear, or like how like is it too much basically when you travel?
I really wanted to bring my kit over here. So I'm in Europe right now. And we're on about a month-long trip over here. But with all the stuff that we have to bring around for our boat, it was just too much. But I'm missing my winging kit and I can't wait to get home and get back on it.
Do you think maybe like one day winging will be like so I don't know, present into like yacht clubs that like maybe then every yacht club will have like gear for like sailors to use?
I hope so. I mean, I think it's really important that sailing programs introduce sailing or water sports or whatever, just in a really fun way. And that's something I value about how I grew up is like I said, we were playing sponge tag and chasing like greased up watermelons. We were still sailing and we were on the water, but it wasn't like hardcore, doing
Yeah,
all these,
like
intense
racing
drills or
tactics
whatever. Yeah.
and
And I got into that later. Like, don't get me wrong. I love that stuff. But I think early on, like, the cool thing about sailing and kiteboarding and wing foiling is it's a lifetime sport. So it's like, early on, we have to just create all these opportunities for kids to try different paths, especially with foiling becoming, such a huge thing in the Olympic scene and professional sailing scene as well.
yeah, I feel like it's a really great balance because like sailing for the most part like is a lot of racing and it's more of like the competition, like serious aspect of it. But then wing foiling is very little. If you look at like everybody wing foiling, how many people are actually racing or competing is like, I don't know, maybe 1% or less.
Yeah.
And everybody wants to do it just because it's fun, it feels good. And so I feel like for somebody sailing that's very focused on always like the pressure of competing, performing, it just must feel so good to like go on the water with no expectation of how I'm going to perform. I'm going out there to have fun, and wing foiling is kind of like the perfect tool for that.
1000%. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm using it for. And like I said, I love being on the water, especially in Miami where it's nice and warm and all year round. And yeah, it's just such a fun way to be on the water. And it's like hassle free too. You know, like when we go sailing on our 49er, it's a lot of prep. It's a lot of setup. There's a lot of maintenance required. And I love that. And, you know, it's a special part of the sailing world, but like being able to just like pump up the wing real quick and go out and just like enjoy an hour of winging is magical.
Yeah. You know what I love, Stephanie, is you brought up a super good point. And for everybody listening, you know, there's like anything in life, there's politics and how do you grow things and how does this person make money or this company make money and so on and so forth. And the only reason I'm bringing this up is, you know, if the world kind of thinks in a little bit of a bigger picture, especially in the sailing world, is, you know, you nailed it right on the button. And that is, look, you're always going to have the competitive side, the high intense, the best in the world racing, super high performance. But if you don't have fun or you don't enjoy all those little basic things, you get burnt out probably by that time you even want to be something. And the other one is, you know, all these communities out there that, you know, if it's too intense at a sailing center or a yacht club or whatever, you know, a lot of times either they don't go that far in it because they burn out, want to go do something fun. And I think, you know, wing foiling and a lot of this new trend happening can kind of bring this fun side, I think, to it. And I think you're saying that. And I think that's a really good thing for people to just kind of open their brains to, because one, you know, we're living in a community that's just locked into phones. And I feel like we need to pull that next generation out and be like, hey, look, you know, you can get out on the water and enjoy this and learn new things and think with your, you know, different side of your brain or whatever it may be. But I think that's something for, you know, be good for us to work on as a whole to better everybody's life in the future, for sure.
Totally. I mean, part of the reason why I love sailing and I love winging is just like the feeling of freedom. You know, we're out there and we're just focused entirely on the present moment, and you're not, you know, you don't have your phone in front of you to distract you and your email or whatever. It's like it's just you, your boat, your board and the water. And I think that's such a cool feeling.
So you are going to the Olympics, like Paris 2024. Like
for wing foiling, everyone.
That might be a weird question, but I want to know, you know, what's going to happen if you get gold, and then what's going to happen if you I don't know the competition style, but like if you basically lose first round, you're out first round. In both of these situations, what do you think is the outcome?
Those are heavy questions. So just to be clear, we haven't qualified for the Paris Olympics. We represented Team USA at the Tokyo Olympics last summer in the 49er FX class. And now we're on our campaign for Paris 2024. And so the first step is to qualify the country. And then the next step is to qualify ourselves through the US Olympic trial system. But when all that happens and we go to Paris and win gold, I'm going to cross the finish line and just like hug my teammate so hard and capsize our boat and just swim around enjoying
grab moment. Your wing and foil and go wing foil.
Yeah. You really have this idea in your mind. You'll be on the beach, right, with it ready to go, and I can just run in.
Yep. No, I mean, yeah, let's hear the second part.
That's like the heavy question part. I think, like, I don't know. I got some perspective this summer at the Olympics because we actually ended up having a tough ending to our Olympics, and tough in the sense that the result, like, we just had a last day where some umpire calls, you know, we had tough umpire calls and ended up slipping a lot in the results. And we were stringing together a really good week of racing, and then it ended on just a really unfortunate note. And it gave me some perspective and it kind of goes back to what you were talking about, Damo, about, you know, it's so important to like enjoy the process and instill fun in what you're doing, because that's ultimately, we're doing this because we want to enjoy it. And reflecting on the Olympics, I was like, we just trained 5 years. It was supposed to be 4, but then we had COVID. And so the Olympics got postponed a year. So it's 5 years of training for 4 days of racing. And it's a lot of time. And, you know, I love every minute of it. And I just, I think it's important that we don't necessarily let the results, that we don't live and die by the results necessarily, that I think to myself, whether it goes good or bad, that I have enjoyed the process of becoming better with my teammate and becoming the best athlete and sailor I can be. So that's kind of a heavy answer, but it was a heavy question. So
No, but
I
you
mean,
said, a lot of people don't realize this, like people train lifetimes for these, how about sprinters, right? What, 8
Yeah.
seconds or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
And you blow the start or something in that 4 years is up or whatever, And I look at that going, man, Gwen says this day after day, episode after episode, but it's so true. Enjoy the challenge, enjoy the process, because the outcome is going to be what the outcome is.
Totally.
And, I wouldn't have met my wife if I didn't have a certain thing happen and an outcome that, like you just don't know where life brings you. But if you enjoy the process, enjoy the challenges, for sure you get smack sideways on everything going wrong all the way through. And it still keeps happening with everything you do. But
Yeah.
I think, you can be very successful if you're just kind of enjoying those challenges and not holding a expectation. Because if you don't hit it, that's kind of when all the negative thoughts creep in.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, you said like, if I win gold, I go hug my friends, and it just seemed like what you described was that one moment, you won. It's of course it's like, you are very proud, but that moment is probably gonna go away like pretty quickly. You won gold, but then you have like some like leftover, like, proud about that moment, but for the most part that moment is gone. And so, is it worse, like, however long it would have been taking you? I mean, it's kind of a lifetime, but like, let's say the last 5 years, if you hated the process, is it really worth that one moment, knowing
Right.
that one moment is like not even guaranteed? You could go 5 years of hating your life, and you miss it, and then another moment where you hate it, and then so it's like the process is everything, really. And the only way to like be able to like pass, like go, overcome like failure, is if what led to the failure, it was still something that you enjoyed, and then you can move forward and keep going, and you are not scared to go fail again, because you enjoy the process.
Totally. Yeah. I remember early on, our coach saying to us, she's an Italian superstar sailor. She's a 4-time Olympian, multiple-time world champion, total badass. And I remember her saying to us, early on, it's the little like moments along the way that you're going to remember when you win that gold medal, or after the Olympics are done, or whatever like that milestone is. It's the little moments that you like, something goofy happened on the water with Maggie, or we had this like crazy wipeout or whatever. Like those are the things that you really carry forward with you. Like you're not going to remember how you did at this one regatta, at the start of the campaign. I mean, maybe you will, but it's so much more about like those memories that you're going to take forward.
No, well said. I think anything in life, like it's exactly that too. You look back at some of your, just look at everybody, just take a glimpse of your life, and what do you remember? You remember like some funny falls or some wipeouts or some funny scenarios, and all the basic normal that kind of just fizzles into nothing. You don't remember that. It's either the high highs or low lows that kind of stand out.
Mm-hmm.
I think in life. My question I really want to ask you is, being, a very talented woman, how many women right now, or how many of your friends, especially on the lady side, I'm just curious. I mean, are they nervous to try wing foiling, or are they kind of like, let's do this, is that kind of like, is that starting to be a push that you see?
Yeah, a lot of my friends are really into it, and a lot of the women on the circuit, on the Olympic circuit, are really into it. There's a girl that we compete with, the Team Brazil. She's a 2-time gold medalist, and she's super into wing foiling, and she's really, really good. And she inspires me to do it. And I can't help but think that there's some sort of crossover when you're learning like how to foil on waves and feel the wind through the wing, you know, that it would help you long term with your sailing. So, you know, you've got someone at that level doing it. And then, you know, I have a couple of my girlfriends who are kind of sailors of all levels enjoying wing foiling. One of my good friends, Laura, who is my roommate at the Olympics, she and I both bought winging kits at the same time. And we just like are like, are you going winging? Yeah, I'm going winging. Let's go. And then we like go out together, or like we'll just bring like one kid out and go out on a coach boat or something and trade off. But it's been like a fun social thing for me. And I have a couple of friends, the Waterlust gang. I don't know if you guys know them at all.
Yeah,
Pat,
Patrick and Fiona, yeah.
and Laura. They're into it and they go to the beach and just play around. So I think I have a lot of friends who are getting into it, and I hope that continues, because it's, like I said, it's, for me, it's like a fun social thing, because it's like, oh, let's just go to the beach and, you know, hang out for the afternoon, and you can take my kid or I'll take yours or whatever. And that's been a really fun thing for me.
So being so much in like the high performance sailing, do you think like being a beginner again, you know, because wing foiling, you're going to struggle, you're going to look like a total cook, and it's going to be like, you know, but do you think that is, you know, maybe because when you are really good at something, maybe you don't want to put yourself in a situation where you are a beginner again? And that would be my first part of the question. And then the second part is, do you think from your community, do you see more women getting into it because they are not scared of being a beginner, and maybe men being scared of being a beginner and not getting into it? Like, I want to hear
a little more ego, you think?
Ooh, that's a good question.
That is a good question. I totally hear you on you know, the part of like trying something new and being afraid of failing. And I think that can definitely be a limitation with people. And I think like once you embrace that mindset of like, I'm going to go out and I'm going to fail, and like actually being able to laugh at yourself a little bit through those is an important part of it. Because I think like maybe I even had a little intimidation early on, like, oh, am I going to be really bad at this? Or am I not going to pick it up? Like, I'm a sailor, I'm supposed to pick this up. But, you know, once I kind of got over that and just like went out and just sent it, I was like, just, yeah, really enjoying it. And I think like I said, if you can just laugh at yourself, like there are definitely moments on the water when I'm like, I have a total yard sale and I'm just like, that was awesome. Like someone got that on video. Like that was awesome.
So what about, you see men being more like hesitant about trying it because of that ego or
cool factor?
Yeah.
The cool factor. I don't know. I can't say. I honestly think like I've seen it pretty equal. Like my friends who are water friends are all into it.
Sorry to interrupt. I was just going to ask, do you see sailing families, or let's just call the parents of young kids, do you see them looking at sailing centers now, and let's just say they see wing foiling out there? Did they look at that going, oh, it's dangerous? Or are they nervous about the foils? Or are they kind of more open to it now because it's more and more mainstream?
I honestly can't speak it from experience on that one, because I'm just like not closely tied to yacht, like junior sailing programs. But I would hope that that's not the case. You know, I think there's a lot of safe ways to get foiling, and there's a lot of technology that's helped to make it really safe. I mean, obviously wearing a helmet and a good life jacket, and having a coach or safety boat out there with you. And you know, I'm a total beginner with all this, but you know, I wear my life jacket, I wear a helmet just to be safe. I don't want to take any risks when I'm out there, because I don't want to be injured and not be able to go training. So, you know, I think there's plenty of safe ways to do that. And I hope that we can get that point across so that more sailing programs pick it up.
Well said. Very well said.
How do you see like yacht clubs being able to like add wing foiling to their programs? Do you see it like maybe if it's more of like does it need to be a performance aspect to it, like a racing, or do you think it could be just like a tool to sailing, but it's just the fun factor?
Yeah, I think I would see it more as a fun factor, but it could be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how it changes as, with the Olympic classes now being like a foiling windsurfing and foiling kiteboarding, like how junior programs change based on that. So I don't know if they'll get foiling windsurfers or if they just start windsurfing and then graduate into the foiling windsurfer, or if they start winging. But I would love to see programs pick up, the winging kits and just like have them available for kids to just go kind of play on. And maybe that's unrealistic. I don't know from a safety standpoint, but I think that's, like I said earlier, I think it's just so important for kids to be able to go have fun on the water. And, one thing that I did in my career path was like kind of specialize early on in the boats that I sail. So I would just focus on like one type of boat. And one thing that I kind of wish I did more was sail in other classes. And so my advice to younger sailors would be to just, jump on any opportunity to go spend time on the water, whether it's winging or windsurfing or kiteboarding or sailing a big keel boat on a Wednesday night beer can race, just absorb the experiences, because sailing's such a unique sport in the sense that every day is different. And, you can just learn so much from being in a different position on a boat, whether you're on the bow or trimming a sail, or, there's so much to be learned. And I think that would be a really cool way to kind of up the junior sailing program game, so to say.
Yeah, I love that. Well said. I mean, I think, a lot of people look at water sports, especially wind sports, and they're like, it's not like you can get on a bike and do the same pedal, the same motion, the same thing over and over, the same conditions.
Right.
You get wind directions that are different, gusty, all sorts of, so it's like, we always said it when, back when I used to compete, but it was like, every day is 100% different. So it makes every day, totally awesome, could be a disaster. You don't know. So it's like that ongoing, like, oh, tomorrow I'm going to jump bigger, and then the wind blows like 3 miles an hour, you can't even jump. You're like, man, today I was gonna jump bigger, but you don't have that opportunity. And I think that's what draws people to these wind sports and I think wing foiling is like the perfect thing exactly to hit that on the buzzer. And that's, how many people struggle with it in the beginning, because you go out when it's, call it 10 to 15 miles an hour, when it's somewhat flat, it's windy, but how windy is it? That's not windy, sort of.
Yeah.
But they start there because they're a little nervous for a little too much wind, and then you realize, oh, I can handle a little more wind. And they're like, I got to wait for that day. Well, that could be in 2 weeks. It could be who knows when. So it's not like you can just say, hey, on Wednesday, I'm going to learn how to wing foil.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the challenge and excitement.
Totally.
I feel like wing foiling is still kind of like the easiest
hardest sport in the world.
Well, it's the easiest, like, foiling with wind, because if you think, windsurfing, with a foil, windsurfing is, like, to me, incredibly hard, and I don't think there is any way that somebody would learn windsurfing on the foil. And so you would have to learn windsurfing first, which is very hard, then transition to wind foiling, or kite foiling, but then it's the same thing. You would have to learn kiting first, and you have to transition to kite foiling, plus the aspect of like kite foiling, maybe especially if we are talking about like yacht clubs, it requires more space for the launch and everything. It might not be like as like convenient. So if you think about it, like, wing foiling is kind of like mind-blowing in a way that's like, yes, it's it's definitely challenging, it's not an easy sport, but we have so many examples of people going into it that have not done anything before, like on the water before. They get into wing foiling and they are able to do it. And so yes, it's challenging, but it's definitely doable. And if you are looking for any alternative, I think it would be even harder.
Totally.
What about putting foils on your boat? Would that be a little more fun?
That'd be insane. There have been like people who have talked about it. And I think someone made a foiling laser at some point. But I don't think we could make it happen with our boat. I don't even know if I could imagine that, to be honest. Our boat's pretty fast and crazy as it is. Foiling would just make it insane.
I love it. I love it. Well, is there any tips that you would give anybody that's listening that's just like on the fence? What would be your best tip you could give them?
On the fence of whether they want to wing foil or not?
Yeah.
Yeah. My tip would be just to send it and just like find a warm place to go do it. And just
why? Because you're going to be floating in the water forever.
You will be swimming a little bit.
Yeah, it's crazy. A lot of like, we are so lucky we have access to that, but I know like so many people like learn in like the craziest conditions. So like well done everybody, like learning wing foiling when it's like freezing and wearing a dry suit, and there's a lot of people doing it. It's crazy.
Yeah, props to them, because getting in cold water is just no fun. But yeah, I think, just embracing the challenge and having the mindset that it is going to be hard, and there's going to be very frustrating times, but there's also going to be like successful moments, and remembering to like kind of embrace those little wins along the way. I remember like when I was able to like first stand up and like actually like balance myself, and I was like, whoa, this is a massive win. And then I got like a little taste of the foiling, and I was like, whoa, okay, there's another win. And then just kind of those like little progressions, and just like taking those as your little wins along the way.
Well said. And if people want to support your endeavors for the future, is this a great place for them to go see and support you and watch you win gold, and then grab your wing gear and go wing foiling? Is that how it's going to go down?
Heck yeah. It sounds like we need to have a little like wing foiling celebration party after the Paris Olympics.
Oh, I love it. That's awesome. And then, look, first off, we want to say thank you so much, Stephanie. You're absolutely an inspiration, and we're excited to watch your process as you go through it, and what you've already accomplished is awesome. And, we always want to give people a little bit of motivation. Obviously it's midweek, people are jamming, life is tough. Our world's in an interesting place, but what would you want to leave these awesome people out here? Just a message that maybe can stick with them or help somebody out there. What would you want to say to everybody?
Ooh, I love that. I mean, first thing that comes to mind, and we were talking about this earlier, is just like spreading positive vibes. I think that there's just so much to be said for, sharing positivity, and finding the positives in any situation. Whether it's like your car breaks down and it's like, okay, the positive from this is that I learned how to fix my car. It's not that like I'm frustrated my car broke down. Like, and I know maybe it sounds like overly optimistic, but I think like spreading positive vibes is always good, and supporting each other. It's like you said, the world's kind of a crazy place, and just supporting each other and showing love to everyone, through those little wins. And, everyone's little wins, I keep saying that, but like, it looks different to everyone. And for someone that might be a PR in the gym, and for someone that might be, I don't know, something with their diet, or it might be something that a class that they're trying to take, and they're, staying consistent with it. Whatever it is, just like celebrating those little victories along the way, and spreading positive vibes. So
I love it. That can't be more well said. I think, it's, if you're upbeat and you're just looking at the best of whatever's given to you every day, I think you'll want to attract others that are good, because they want to be around you. If you're expressing tons of negativity, I think you're going to lose some friends. But I think
or attract the wrong one.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's just like the simplest saying that people can go out. And Stephanie, you nailed it. I think a lot of times we get caught up in just dwelling on, oh, this or that, or this or that, or this or that. And, man, it's, you're alive. Maybe you can walk, maybe you can't. You look at the good of whatever you have and run with it, and just keep looking at that in the best way possible. And I think your life will change for anybody out there, no matter what you're doing, whether you're struggling with anything. I think that's just, it's the first step. And don't ever be afraid to reach out to somebody for help. And if we can help, look, we're just a small, struggling, who knows what we're doing YouTube thing, but we're having fun trying to help people, and that's it. And we get amazing people like Stephanie to come join us and share their beautiful messages. And yeah, that's kind of the goal. So
yeah, I mean, I saw something on like social media that was like really good. It was like, surround yourself with whose eyes light up when they see you. Slow is the best way to get to where you want to be, and the top of a mountain is the bottom of the next, so keep climbing. And I was like, that is so perfect.
Yeah. To get a big old like, hell yeah. Like vibe with that. I love it.
I gotta change these banners. I'm not that quick, people. I'm sorry. I can't do it. I can't do it that fast. I'm so sorry. We just got video going.
In the end, it is like, community is a lot. So like being able to like surround yourself with people that like make you better, that make you feel better, is just, like such a huge part of like just like, being happy. So like, that's one step. Try to find happiness yourself, but also like surround yourself with people that are like helping, going in the right direction.
Totally. Yeah, that was something my teammate and I were really grateful for after the Olympics. We were pretty crushed by our ending and the results and stuff. But we came home to like an incredibly supportive group of people, our families and friends and supporters. And it just felt so good that, to have people by your side through thick and thin. So positive vibes help you find positive people and positive outcomes.
Well said. Well said. Well, we're going to jump over into our Patron Private. All it is $5 a month, and you support our channel, and we get to talk one-on-one with Stephanie privately and go in depth on how she's going to win the Olympic gold. And no, we just want to say, look, everybody out there, have a wonderful Wednesday. Look, hopefully this helps, put a little positivity in your life. And let's follow Stephanie as she takes this process into the Olympics. It's going to be super fun. So we're rooting for you. We're excited. We can't wait to see you win and then be on a wing. And then that'll probably transition into wing foiling in the Olympics.
Love it.
But Stephanie, thank you so much for being a part of this and sharing your message. It's beautiful.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me. And we really appreciate all your support as we go to campaign for the Paris 2024 Olympics. So if you're on social media, please follow our team, Roble Shea Sailing. We'd love to have your support as we campaign to represent Team USA.
Yeah, maybe I would say if we could just take all our patrons and just morph it to you. There it is. Done.
Perfect.
You should be able to get like 3 coffees or something.
Coffee is very important.
Coffee is important. On that note, everybody have a wonderful day. Thank you, Stephanie, for your time. And we're going to jump over to the other broadcast.
Yeah, thank you.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys. Have a good Wednesday.